Let's look at question 31 to 40 of the 2021 JAMB Mathematics examination questions. 31 says simplify 1 minus open bracket 2 whole number 1 over 3 times 1 whole number 1 over 4 close the bracket plus 3 over 5. A minus 2 whole number 7 over 15. B minus 2 whole number 31 over 60. C minus 1 whole number 19 over 60. D minus 1 whole number 1 over 15. So how do we solve this question? Let me write out question 31. So question number 31. So let me write out the question there. For 31, what you have there is 1 minus. So I have 1 minus open bracket 2 whole number 1 over 3. So 2 whole number 1 over 3 times 1 whole number 1 over 4 close the bracket. This plus 3 over 5. So plus 3 over 5. All right. So how do we solve this particular question? Of course, we'll start with the terms in the brackets, right? When you consider board mass, so we start with the terms in the brackets first. Let's start with the terms in the bracket. This becomes 1 minus. I'll convert this mixed fraction to improper fraction. That becomes 3 times 2, 6, plus 1, 7. So I have 7 over 3. So let me write 7 over 3 times, convert this mixed fraction to improper fraction, 4 times 1, 4, plus 1, 5. That becomes 5 over 4. So I have 5 all over 4. This then plus 3 over 5. Proceeding with this becomes 1 minus, multiply numerators, 7 times 5 gives you 35. That becomes 35 all over 3 times 4, that gives you 12. So I have 12 here. So this plus 3 over 5. Let's work on this. This is equal to, now for this, I'll take off the brackets here. I have 1 minus, taking off the bracket, you have 35 all over 12, then plus 3 over 5. So plus 3 over 5. Now you want to take note that 1 expressed as a fraction is the same as 1 over 1. The same thing, minus 35 all over 12 plus 3 over 5. All right, so here my next task is to take the LCM. The LCM of 1, 12, and 5 will give you 60. That's my LCM. So LCM is 60. I'll just come here. I'll write 60. So first things first, 60 divided by 1 is 60. 60 times 1 gives you 60. So I have the first one there as 60. Next up, you have minus. So I have here as minus. So next up, you have 60 divided by 12. 60 divided by 12 gives you 5. 5 times numerator, 5 times 35. That gives you 175. So this is 175. Next up, you have plus. So plus 60 divided by 5. 60 divided by 5 gives you 12. 12 times numerator, that's 12 times 3. That gives you 36. So let's work on numerator. This is equal to 60 minus 175 plus 36. That's about minus 79 all over 60. So we have this. Let's try to express this in, this is an improper fraction. Let's express this as a mixed fraction. This will be equal to, I'll take down the minus. So we have 79 divided by 60. Of course, if you look at this, 79 divided by 60, you'll be having one whole number. So you have 1 there. 1 times 60 is 60. I'll write 60 here. Subtracting them, 79 minus 60 gives you 19. So I have 19. So this gives you what you have here, one whole number. This as your numerator, 19 all over this as denominator, 60. So let's see which option is minus one whole number, 19 over 60. Let's see what option that is. Minus one whole number, 19 over 60. That is option C. minus one whole number, 19 over 60. So this becomes the correct answer to this question. Next up, moving on, question number 32. 32 says, determine the maximum value of y equal to 3x squared minus x cubed. A, 2, B, 6, C, 4, D, 0. So how do we solve this question? We are given 3x squared minus x cubed, so 32. We're given y equal to 3x squared minus x cubed. So how do we solve this question? The first thing we want to do here, this question is under the application of differentiation. The first thing we want to do is differentiate y with respect to x. So you have that dy dx is equal to, if I differentiate this, you have your answer as 6x minus, differentiate this, you have 3x squared. Now, if you don't understand how we got this, I have a complete playlist on differentiation. So go to playlist, go to differentiation, you'll see a complete playlist, right? That's list of videos on differentiation, and you learn how we got this. Now, back to this, if I differentiate y here, or if I differentiate y with respect to x, I will have that dy dx is equal to this. Now, the next thing you do here, you equate dy dx to 0. All right, so dy over dx, equate this to 0. That means this one here, that's 6x minus 3x squared, will be equal to 0. To solve this, we have to factorize. We have 6x and 3x squared. Your factor there will be 3x, such that 6x divided by 3x, that's simply 6x over 3x, x cancels x, 3 here, 1, 3 to this, 2. So you have it as 2. Okay, so I have this as 2 minus 3x squared divided by 3x. This cancels this. X here, 1, x here, x. So that gives you x. So you have 2 minus x. It's equal to 0. Next thing here, take the term outside brackets, that's 3x as equal to 0, or take the term inside brackets, 2 minus x as equal to 0. From here, to get the value of x, all we have to do is divide here by 3, divide here by 3. This cancels this. X is equal to 0 divided by 3 gives you 0. Or for this, you have, all I have to do is just move x over here. That becomes 2 is equal to minus x moves over, it becomes plus x. So x is equal to 2, right? So my two values are x equal to 0 or x equal to 2. One of these is the maximum and one of these is the minimum. So how do we know which of them is the maximum? How do we know which is the minimum? Bear in mind that the numbers are 0 and 2. Now coming back to this equation here, we got that dy dx, look at this, we got this here, that dy dx is equal to 6x. We had that dy dx is equal to 6x minus 3x squared. We have this. Now, in this question here, for us to get the maximum value, there's a condition to it. All right, there's a condition to it. The condition is that the squared y over the x squared should be less than 0. That's the condition. So for this, to get the value of the squared y over the x squared, I have to differentiate the y dx. So we're going to differentiate this one again. All right. From here, let's differentiate the y over dx. If I differentiate the y dx, I'll have the squared y all over the x squared. It's equal to, differentiate 6x, you have 6, minus, differentiate 3x squared, you have 6x. Again, if you don't know how we got this, check out our playlist on differentiation. You'll see a step-by-step guide on how to solve this. All right. Moving on, at this point, recall that we had at x equal to 0 and at x equal to 2. One of these is the maximum value that's required. The other one is minimum. And we said the condition for maximum is that the squared y over the x squared should be less than 0. And for a number to be less than 0, the number has to be negative. All right. So let's see which of these gives us negative. Let's put x at 0. So at x equal to 0, put that into this function here. We'll have that the squared y over the x squared is equal to 6. So you have 6, this one here, minus 6 times x. X is now 0. This is simply 6 minus 6 times 0 is 0. This gives us 6, positive 6. That means x equal to 0 is not the maximum, it is the minimum. All right. For maximum, it has to be a negative. We said that. That means automatically 2 is my maximum. Now, I don't have to solve again, but then let me solve just to confirm this. So just to confirm, we'll have that the squared y over the x squared, that is at x equal to 2. This is equal to 6 minus, look at this same function, 6 minus 6 times x. At this point, x is now 2. To become 6 times x, which is what there? 2. This is equal to 6 minus 6 times 2 is 12. 6 minus 12 is minus 6. So the answer there is minus 6. Again, as we predicted, minus 6 is less than 0. Why? It's negative. So the correct answer there is at x equal to 2. So it's at x equal to 2 that you have your maximum value. Yep. So the correct option there is A, x equal to 2. That's the correct answer. All right. Next up, let's look at question number 33. 33 says the fourth term of an AP is 13, while the 10th term is 31. Find the 24th term. A, 73, B, 89, C, 75, D, 69. So how do we solve this question? Now for question 33, so we have 33. All right, they said the fourth term of an AP is 13. Don't forget that the nth term of an AP, Tn, is equal to A plus n minus 1d. This is how to get the nth term of an AP. So fourth term becomes A plus n is 4. So 4 minus 1, then you have d. And that would give you A plus 4 minus 1 is 3d. In other words, the fourth term is A plus 3d. Okay, so let's write that down. So the first we're given there is A plus 3d, that's fourth term, is equal to 13. That's the first thing we have there. Next up, it said, while the 10th term is 31, 10th term will follow the same pattern. A plus n is 10, so it becomes 10 minus 1d. That becomes A plus 10 minus 1 is 9. So I have A plus 9d. That's my 10th term. Okay, let's take that down. So A plus 10th term is 9d. It's equal to 31. You have this value. All right, you're asked to find the 24th term. Now, before we find the value of the 24th term, let's get the value of A and D. And how do we do that? For this, just simply subtract them, right? A minus A gives you 0, it cancels out. 3 minus 3d minus 9d is same as saying 3 minus 9, which is minus 6d. So you have minus 6d. Next up, 13 minus 31. 13 minus 31 gives you minus 18. So that's equal to minus 18. From here, of course, 0 is off. If you have minus 6d equal to minus 18, to get d, divide here by minus 6, divide here by minus 6. This cancels this cancels this. We'll have that d is equal to, this cancels this. 18 over 6 is 3. So d is 3. If you've gotten the value of d as 3, let's get the value of a. We'll call this our equation 1. We'll call this as equation 2. So all we have to do is put d into 1. So I'll put d equal to 3 into any of the equation, either 1 or 2. But let me choose 1 into equation 1 to get a. And how does that work? So we have a, from equation 1, we have a plus 3d. That becomes a plus 3 times, what's d? The value of d is 3. So a plus 3 times d, that's d is 3. This is equal to, for equation 1, they said is equal to 13. So we have this as 13. From this, we have a plus 3 times 3 is 9. It's equal to 13. So a is equal to 13. 9 comes over here, becomes minus 9. So a is equal to 13 minus 9. That gives you 4. So I have this. All right, so a is 4, d is 3. Let's get the, in the question they said 24th term. Back to this, when n is 24, it becomes a plus 24 minus 1. Basically, this is how you used to get, or this is the formula you used to get the nth term. So if it's 24th term, it becomes Tn is now 24. 24th term is equal to a plus n is now 24. 24 minus 1 is 23d. So the formula for the 24th term, so 24th term, 24th, 24th, let me put the th to it. 24th term is given by a plus 23d. Now let's put in the values we have. This is equal to a is 4 plus 23, d is 3. We have this. All right, this is equal to, I have 4 plus 23 times d, which is 23 times 3. That gives you 69. All right, 4 plus 69 is equal to 73. So the answer there is 73. The 24th term is 73. Do we have that option there? Yup, that's option A, 73. That's your answer. All right, next up, question 34. 34 says, in how many ways can 7 directors sit around a table? A, 24, B, 5040, C, 120, D, 720. So how do we solve this question? Now note that this question is under something called cyclic permutation. All right. So we have 34. It's under something called cyclic permutation. All right. And for cyclic permutation, the formula is simply n minus 1 factorial. Cyclic permutation tells you the number of ways a thing or some objects or anything can be arranged in a circular pattern, either a round table or any circular manner. N is equal to the number of things involved. In this case, they said, in how many ways can 7 directors? So in this case, N is equal to 7. The number of directors, 7. So the answer becomes, this is equal to N minus 1, so 7 minus 1 factorial. And that's equal to 7 minus 1 is 6 factorial. 6 factorial simply means 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That's the meaning of 6 factorial. All right. So it keeps going down until 1. And this is equal to, if you get your calculator and you punch 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, equal to your answer is 720. That's your answer. So let's see which option there is 720. All right, so the answer is D, 720, option D. Next up, question number 35. 35 says, find the midpoint of S with coordinates minus 5, 4 and T with coordinates minus 3, 2. All right, so how do we solve this? 35. Note that to find midpoints is simply equal to half of, you get the value of x1 plus x2, comma, then half, get the value of y1 plus y2. That's all. So that's equal to half of what's x1. Now for the given values here, this is your x1. So this is x1, this is y1. All right, that's the x and y values in bracket 1. Let me write it better. So this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. In essence, x1 is minus 5, x2 is minus 3. So it becomes minus 5 plus minus 3, minus 5 plus minus 3, comma, half of, let's get y1 plus y2. y1 is 4, y2 is minus 2. So 4 plus minus 2, 4 plus minus 2. Let's work on this. This is equal to, I'm having half of minus plus minus here is minus. So minus 5 minus 3, your answer is minus 8, comma, half into plus minus here is minus 4 minus 2 is 2. Right? So 4 minus 2 here is 2. So the midpoint will now be equal to half. Okay, half of minus 8. So you can see here. that becomes minus 8 over 2 minus half of 2, that becomes 2 over 2. And this is equal to minus 8 over 2 gives you minus 4, 2 over 2 gives you 1. So you have this as minus 4 and plus 1. That's your answer. Minus 4 and plus 1. The correct option there is D, minus 4 and 1. That's your answer. All right, question 36. Find the value of, you have this. So this is the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. 0, 3, 2, 1, 7, 8, 0, 5, 4. Option A is minus 2, B is 10, C is 12, D is minus 1. You're asked to find D's determinant. So how do you solve this question? Now, to solve question 36, let's write out this particular matrix, all right? So question number 36, you're asked to find the determinant. So determinants of the numbers there are 0, 3, 2, 1, 7, 8, and 0, 5, and 4. So we have this. All right, so this is determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. And how do we solve this question? The first thing you want to do is plus, minus, plus. All right, so always add this. Then this will be equal to, take plus of the first term, which is plus 0, and that's plus 0 into, for this one here, for 0, we'll cover the row of 0 like this and cover the column of 0 like this. So you can see that what we have here is 7854. We're going to repeat that number there. So it becomes 7, 8, 5, 4. We have this. All right, that's the first one. Then next up is have minus 3. That's this. All right, minus 3 into, for 3, we'll cover the rows and the columns of 3. Let's get that. Cover the row of 3, that's this, and the column of 3, that's this. What I have there is 1804. Okay, let's take in that numbers. That becomes 1804. Next up, you have this one here, plus 2. That becomes plus 2 into, for 2, cover the row and column. That's the row of 2 and this column here. So you can see that what we have here is 1705. Let's take down that number. 1705, 1705. So we have this. All right, so basically this is what we have so far. Next thing we're going to do is that this is equal to, the number here is plus 0 or simply 0 into, multiply the terms in principal diagonal. That means this one here, these terms here, multiply them. And that becomes 7 times 4 minus these other terms there, which is 8 times 5. 8 times 5, that's the first thing there. This will be in a round bracket, please. Round bracket. Next up, minus 3. So minus 3 into the terms in the principal diagonal. That becomes 1 times 4. 1 times 4 minus this other one there, which is simply 8 times 0. So 8 times 0. Next up, we have plus 2. So we have plus 2 into this times this, 1 times 5. So I have 1 times 5 minus, you now have this times this. That becomes 7 times 0. All right, work on this. This is equal to, now for this question here, for this particular one here, we don't have to stress ourselves. Don't forget, this is a JAMB maths, and JAMB maths can be very fast. Whatever result we get here, we will be multiplying it with 0. All right, bear in mind, and anything times 0 is 0. So don't stress yourself. This will give you 0 because anything we have multiplied by the 0 outside will give us 0. So don't stress. This becomes minus 3. So I'm picking up this one here. Minus 3 into 1 times 4 gives you 4. Minus 8 times 0 gives you 0. So that's minus 0 basically. Next up, plus 2. So plus 2, this one here, into, in the bracket I have 1 times 5. That is 5 into minus 7 times 0 is 0. So let's work on this. This is equal to 0 minus 3. 4 minus 0 is 4 plus 2. 5 minus 0 is 5. This is equal to, this 0 is off. Minus 3 times 4 is minus 12, plus 2 times 5 is 10. Minus 12 plus 10 is minus 2. So the answer to this question is minus 2. So let's see which option has minus 2 as your answer. Yep, that's option A, minus 2. That is your correct answer. Next up, question number 37. 37 says if P is equal to 6457, the matrix 6457, then this of P is, what this means is simply determinant. Determinant of P is A 16, B 32, C 18, D 22. So how do we solve this question? Very simple. Note that determinant of P is simply equal to multiply the terms here. That's your principal diagonal. Terms you have there 6 and 7. So it becomes 6 times 7 minus the terms you have here, right? Which is 4 and 5. Multiply them 4 times 5. This would be equal to 6 times 7 is 42 minus 4 times 5 is 20. 42 minus 20 gives you 22, right? So the answer there is 22. Which option is 22 there? That's option D, 22. That's your correct answer. All right, moving on. 38. 38 says if a matrix P has an inverse, the matrix P is given as 1 minus 3, 0, 1. Find the inverse of P. So how do we solve this? Let's write 38 down. So for 38, we're given the matrix P as equal to, we have this as, let's see, 1 minus 3, 0, 1. So that's 1 minus 3, 0, 1. We have this. We asked to find the inverse of P, right? How do we get the inverse of P? So P inverse is equal to, how do you find this? Now for this question, you want to note that the value of P inverse would simply be equal to, or to get P inverse, we take 1 all over determinant of P, this multiplying, this will be multiplying for inverse, the term here comes down here and the term here goes up here. That's how you do it. But in this case, they are both 1, so you may not really see the change. That means this one comes down here, that becomes 1 here. This one here goes up here, so that becomes 1. So I said they are the same term, so you may not see the change. Assuming this was 3 and this was 5, right? You'll be having 5 up here and 3 here. But since it's 1 and 1, the change may not be noticeable. That's the first you do. Second thing you do is that you add minus to this and minus to this. So this becomes minus 0. And we know that minus 0 is same as 0. Meanwhile, minus to minus 3. Minus minus gives you positive. So it becomes plus 3. So you have this. All right. So this is how we do inverse. All right. So the simple concept is that this term here goes down here. That's the first thing there. And then the term that was here goes up here. That's the second thing you do. Then, of course, add negative to this term. Then add negative to this term. Then when you're done with that, multiply it with the inverse of the determinant. My final task here is to find determinant of P. And determinant of P is simply equal to the terms here. Let's go back to what we had earlier. Don't forget that earlier, this was, this was minus 3 here. And this was 0 or minus 0. Let me take this off a bit. All right, let me go back to my initial term. This was 0 here. All right, so for determinant, so the determinant here is equal to, don't forget, terms in your principal diagonal multiply first. That becomes 1 times 1 minus the terms here will multiply minus 3 times 0. This is equal to 1 times 1 is 1 minus 3 times 0. All of this will give you 0 because you're multiplying with 0. So it becomes minus 0, and that's equal to 1. So determinant here is equal to 1 over 1, because this value is now 1, as we've seen here. So 1 over 1 multiplying 1, 3, 0, 1. And we know that when 1 multiplies anything, that same thing is the answer. So my answer here is 1301. All right, so 1301 is my answer. Let's see what option is that. 1301. That is option C. 1301. That's your answer. Okay. Next up, 39. 39 says P, Q, and R are subsets of a universal set U. The Venn diagram showing the relationship P intersection Q union R is, so you have option A, option B, option C, and option D. Which of these is the correct answer? Now, the first thing you want to note that is that for each of these, P is labeled this way, Q is labeled here, and R is here. So let's get 39. 39, I'll form a Venn diagram. Let me get this one here. First one, the second one, the third one. Right, so this is P, this is Q, this is R. These are subsets of a major Venn diagram, which is the one we've done here. Give me a second. The one we've done here. All right, we'll call this U, universal set. All right, so we have this. Now we are asked to get the region that shades P intersection Q. So we have P intersection Q in brackets, then union of R. Now, how do we do this? We'll start with the one in brackets. The one in brackets says P intersection Q. For P intersection Q, I will shade the region where P and Q meets. Let's call this A, let's call this B, let's call this C, let's call this D, let's call this E, let's call this F, let's call this G. Where does P and Q meet? Looking at this point, we can see that P and Q meet at B. Look at this point here. P and Q meets at B. That is their intersection. This is where they meet. So you have this. So I'm going to shade this part here. This is my first shading. P and Q meets at this point here. Next up again, what do you have? They said union R. When you say union, they mean combine it with R. So combine this with everything that R covers. R covers G, R covers F, R covers E, and R covers D. You can see the circle there covers each of this, right? So I'm going to shade all of this too. So let's shade this. We're going to shade this very quick, and let's see what we get. So basically, you're shading this part here. Everything here, you are shading this. So try to shade this very quick and see what we have. All right, so shade this very quickly and see which option aligns with what you have here. All right, but the main thing there is knowing how to get your part. Okay, let's say P intersection Q. It means shade where P and Q meet, what they have in common. Then when they now say union, when they say union, union simply means combine it with all of R. That's the meaning of union R. All right, so let me show you this real quick, and then we'll look at the option that matches this particular diagram. By the way, this is under sets or Venn diagram of sets. All right. Do well to check our playlist on mathematics. There's a playlist on mathematics. Go to the playlist, go to playlist section, look for mathematics, then check inside that playlist. You see sets, right? And then you learn all of this. So basically, this is what I have there. So let's see which option rhymes with this particular diagram. All right, under 39. Yep, that's option C. Look at this. You can see all of this has been shaded. Look at this, including this part here. So C, this one here, is the correct answer. That's C. Okay. Next up, of course, this D would have been here, all right, and C would have been here. It's just a typo error. So I'm just taking C. This is the correct option. All right. Question 40 here says the locus of a point P which moves on one side only of a straight line XY so that angle OY being equal to 90 is A, the perpendicular bisector of XY, B, a circle, C, a semicircle, D, an arc of a circle through XY. All right, so how do we answer this question here? Now, to answer this question here, we use something called Thales theorem. All right, Thales theorem, this Thales theorem. Now, from this theorem, it says that any angle standing on a diameter of a circle is a right angle. That's what it says, and that's why we're having this right angle here. Now, note for this is supposed to be pxy, all right, not oy. This is supposed to be pxy. Consider what we're given there. It's supposed to be pxy. So let me take this off. What you're supposed to be having here is angle pxy as equal to 90 degrees. So from here, we can infer that P lies on the circle whose diameter is the straight line here, which is xy. But the question here says that it moves on one side only. All right. So when you have a diameter of a circle, just like this, and you're moving on just one side only from this, so it's just one side only that's moving. It's moving towards one side only. So what I have here is a semicircle. So from what we have here, that's half of a circle. From the diameter to only one side of the circle, that becomes a semicircle. So for this question, let me take this off. What we have there is C, a semicircle. All right. So as usual, I'll leave one question for you to solve. That's question 41. 41 says, solve the inequality, open bracket, x plus 4 multiplying x plus 1, right, less than or equal to 0. You have option A, option B, option C, and option D. So for this 41 here, solve the question, which of them is the correct answer? Leave it in the comment section and I'll give you a reply. I will tell you if your answer is correct or not. Okay? Okay, guys, so please take note that we have a JAMB WhatsApp group for 2026 JAMB Bites. All right. So if you're writing JAMB for 2026, we have a JAMB WhatsApp group where we do daily revisions on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. So if you're a science student and you want to join our JAMB WhatsApp group, I'll leave a link to the JAMB WhatsApp group in the video description. All right. You can also join our JAMB channel membership to get access to exclusive content for JAMB Bites, or you can get the full JAMB course on our website. Simply visit www.journalimmanu.com/courses and you see the JAMB/WAEC classes. All right. Okay, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. All right. Like this video. Also leave a comment. Right, for the comments, I gave you a task, question number 11. Solve it, leave your answer in the comment section, and I'll tell you if you're correct or not. Don't forget to also subscribe. If it's your first time here or you're yet to subscribe, please do what to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and select all so that you get notified whenever we upload a new content. Then finally, ensure to share this video to your friends and their colleagues so that they can also learn. Thank you and see you in our next class.